This is scary, folks. You know, I almost thought of doing a Willy Wonka, come with me, and you'll see. And for today's fit, this is for Angie. This is our facility, folks. And I wanted to start right here, but you're going to see a lot. You're going to see a lot of good. You're going to see maybe some not so good. But it is our facility, and we try as hard as we possibly can. We enjoy the hobby. We have a lot of fun, and you know, we try to do our best down here. You're going to see some interesting enclosures. I try to do things the best that I can, but I also try to do things from an economical standpoint too. Not to go too cheap, but try to do things so that I can, I don't know, get done the best that I can. Do we have anybody in the live, Nanette?
Yeah, I see Frank's here, Illinois Valley Geckos, Angie, Jen Lee is here. I don't want to mess this thing up. I know there were a couple others up there. JP Lizards is here. Can you guys hear us okay? Is the picture okay? Just kind of let us know that
Raise your hand.
I'm doing okay.
If anybody, seriously, if anybody has any questions, if you want us to stop somewhere during this tour and you just want us to talk about something specific that you see, like, Wally, Nanette, why do you do this? Why is that there? How come you don't? Something like that. Give us the opportunity to explain. Now, what we're not going to do...
Angie wants a close-up of your shirt.
How about that? We'll get better lighting in just a minute here, Angie.
Not my favorite, Angie.
So, you know, we're going to explain as much as we can. We're not going to go into details like, so you have Nephurus melii. Can you tell us how to breed them? If you have questions like that, put them in the chat. I'm going to go back through the chat and I'll look at the questions. Put, you know, question. If you have questions, put capital letters question and ask your question. And I'll go back through if there's something that's not relevant to the tour itself. I'll go ahead and answer. So let's talk about this tour. Hopefully everybody understands what we're doing here.
I don't.
This is for our Buy Me a Coffee members. I've been wanting to do this for probably 3 years, and we just haven't had the opportunity. And to be very honest, I was ashamed of how we had some of our setups done. Some of the example, we had some 3-gallon cubes, and they were impossible to clean, and I would constantly clean them, and the minute that I would clean them, they would be dirty. And I just wanted to replace those. Well, over the winter, we worked through with Wisconsin Custom Cages, and we brought in 3 new enclosure racks, in addition to an Australian rack that we had last year. And that gave me some confidence to maybe show some of this off, and especially in you know, gratitude to Wisconsin Custom Cages. So let's start from right here. This is our entrance. To my right is that to your left? To my right is the upstairs, first floor, and then we have a second floor, and that's where our bedrooms and blah blah blah, my office is. But come down the stairs, and we did a video on this probably about 2 or 3 years ago. Hopefully you can see these enclosures. What do we have in here? Well, we have, and again, guys, if you have comments like, what the heck is all the markings and everything? So we have some Oidura. These are Australian velvet geckos. Kagarai, monoliths. We have, and I don't have a label for this, but this is a pair of Phelsuma clemeri, which we never see, never, ever, ever see. And we'll pull some of these animals out, and if you want to see something specific, we'll try the best as we possibly can to pull them out. Cerdodactylus elac. We saw these last night, and maybe we'll see a big female later, but this is a tank of 3 young animals. Morning geckos, nothing. This is a flying gecko. This is a lone male that I have. Maybe I'll bring this one to a show at some point. Morning geckos, and these are, what are these? These are Oidura kogarai. These are some little ones. The tank above was Oidura monoliths, some little velvet geckos.
They're all hiding.
I tell you what, and it's the daytime. We know that these are nocturnal. So we're going to see that there's, you know, some very little activity down here actually during the day. So logistics. To my right is the east wing. To my left is the west wing. The west wing is made up mostly of the isopods, crested geckos, the new big rack, and the gargoyles. I don't know if Bobby from Gecko Cove made it in, but we'll talk about geckos in just a minute, or about gargoyles in just a minute. Right now, we're going to the east wing, and I'll tell you why we're going to do that in just a second. We're going to fly through the hallway here. We call it, everything has names. We're going to fly through the hallway if we can fit. You can see how close of a fit that is. I'll try not to turn my back too much, but I'll come back in more detail here. But more exoteros. We just passed Wisconsin Custom Cages rack. Let's keep going. This is where it all started, folks. And tell me if you can hear us, because we have a fan running, we have the air conditioning running. So if you cannot hear us, we'll turn some stuff off in here. But this is where, any comments on that so far? Any questions?
You're pulling a Beauty and the Beast. West wing is forbidden. Flying geckos are very cool. Everything sounds good still.
Excellent, excellent. So everything started right here about 23, I keep saying 20, 22 years, but now it's like 25 years, I think.
Or more.
And we've been doing, or more, that we've been doing animals. Started right here because this, when we bought the house, this was the workshop. Remember that big work table that we had right here? We moved it out to the garage.
Yeah, that I can't stand.
So I had 20 lawn with leopard geckos in there. And then we built a rack over here and a rack over there. And these, folks, these tanks, and I'm going to talk about these tanks in just a minute. And we've seen this rack on another video about 2 or 3 years ago. But this rack is probably our oldest. How can you tell? Well, almost all of the racks that aren't custom made were built, well, all of the racks that aren't custom made were built right here. And my workmanship, I don't know if you can get this right here in the net.
You want to show them the
I'm showing
the
everything.
support
If somebody
system?
has questions or issues, they're going to see it here.
support, the
That's
tie
my
that holds the
support.
stand
So
there?
that's one stand holding the other one up. What this is, it actually adds some stability. If I had to do it over again, I'd certainly do some things over. But
Is it the noise in the background that's causing it?
what's that?
Gurgling.
It might be because we're lagging a little bit.
Okay.
It might be because I'm
In the
chewing gum.
basement.
No, it might be lag. And folks, if we have lag for more than a couple of seconds, we're going to just have to go with that. We're in our basement. We're way away from the router and the networking equipment.
Distance to the mic.
It
That
might
zip
be that.
tie is being held together by hopes and prayers.
It
You're
is.
right.
It really is. You know, it
Yeah, because
works.
those
It
are
works
glass
right now.
tanks if that thing goes.
So this will be probably our very next purchase and redo all of this setup right here, simply because it is so old and it's hard to work with. We need something a little bit easier to work with and a little bit more, I guess, modern or at least up to date. But this is how we have our crested geckos. You've seen this before, and I'll tell you what, we have bare bottom tanks, folks, and it works for us because we can feed crickets and we don't have any issues with the animals catching the crickets and having stuff in their mouth. Egg cartons in the back, some cork bark, some plastic plants. We have the hide, a food dish, a water dish. And folks, this is dirty bottoms. It is what it is. These tanks get cleaned about once a month. We go through, Nanette and I go through, and we pull all of the stuff off the bottoms. We scrape the front glass as well as we can. And then about once every 4 to 5 months, we'll go through and we'll do a major cleaning. Everything gets clean, taken down over to the sink and completely cleaned. But this has worked up for us really, really well. And I don't know if you know the theory about an aquarium that's well established, that's just healthier than a new aquarium that you change the water every day. Well, that's our theory here, that these tanks are well established and they're really working out very, very well.
What do you use to scrape your waste?
What we'll do is I'm going to change positions and I'll come back to that question and we can show the right-hand side here. Sound good? All right. So what do we clean the tanks? Where am I? Oh, I scraped.
You hung them up. You hung them up really nice on that little hook up there that I can't reach without a stool.
Oh,
by the way.
so we use these. What are these, putty knives?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll take one of these putty knives. I'll get closer to the camera. We'll take one of these putty knives, take it right down the bottom of the tank, and then just scoop out the excess material and throw it out. It's as easy as that. And we'll do that about, I don't know, once a month or so. But more, we'll do a complete clean, and that's with water, and wash everything out about once every 4 months or so, something like that.
Razor blades on the inside of the glass.
Yeah,
on the sides.
We buy boxes. And we'll see that in just a minute. We buy boxes of razor blades so that when we're ready to scrape tanks, we'll take a new razor blade and scrape 3 or 4 or 5 tanks, throw it away, get a new razor blade.
Closer you are to the camera, the better it sounds.
Cool.
And we don't put anything on the bottom of those tanks at this point. They are bare glass bottoms.
Bare glass.
Illinois asked.
And again, it's hard to make the change over to a new system with those tanks because they're working for us. So what I've done in the past couple of years is I've replaced enclosures simply from a need standpoint. And those, while they don't look the greatest, they still function very, very well. I'm going to talk about what's behind me in just a second. So again, a couple of years ago, this was one huge, ugly, crested gecko.
It was Beardy's first.
It was Beardy's back, 10, 15 years ago. It was all Beardy's. So I replaced that big stand that held 20 big, long tubs, and they were filled with crested geckos at the time. I replaced that with 10 of these tubs. My cat geckos are over here. They need a bigger enclosure, but we'll probably do that sometime in the next month or so. And here's where it really works, folks. This is the golden part of what we're doing down here in the facility. These are our grow out tanks. Some of them are actually breeder tanks like these Coleonyx brevis. Maybe I can open one of these for you guys. We haven't seen any animals yet. And I'm going to tell you beforehand that these tanks are filthy because these Coleonyx brevis are major eaters and major poopers. So we're going to see some gecko poop here, folks, but this is how I have them set up. And I'm going to do a feeding tomorrow morning. This is day 2, or the day after I fed. So every other day I try to feed, but tomorrow morning I'll be doing the feeding. But you can see a water dish, a food dish, little hide here, don't see anybody, and then a hide over here, and everybody just ran. And then we have these little hides. And I'll go through and I'll dig for eggs in these hides, but they're all breeding right now. And we're hoping for some more Coleonyx brevis eggs and babies this year.
Fingers crossed nothing's going to jump out at you.
I tell you, there's some tanks that probably won't open too much and show you guys, but so another poop machine. These are our day geckos, and maybe we'll see one. I don't know if you guys can see that day gecko sitting there. So this is typical of our day geckos. Some plants, some places to hide, a good ledge, a feeder dish. They knocked their feeder dish down, but lots of humidity in here. And always dirty. It's so hard to keep up with these day geckos, but this is just a great breeding tank for these day geckos. Hey, I want to show you guys something. Take a look up here. Nanette, can you show them? These are our diet dishes. We throw our diet dishes on top of the day gecko enclosure simply because, well, 2 things. Number one, it's a screen top and it drips down into the day gecko tank and adds a little bit more humidity, but they dry out up here. So we can take them after a couple of days of them drying out and we could put them away into our crested gecko tub. Then use them for the next time. Let's show the
dirty sink.
The dirty sink. This is our sink. Hey, folks, this is exciting stuff. This is our dirty sink.
This is how we soak out the cups for a couple days first, and then we rinse them and stack them up on the top of the day gecko tank to dry up.
If you notice, take a look at this. I'm going to run this. So this is going to be noisy, and back up with the camera so it doesn't get soaked. We have garden hoses, folks. We have garden hoses. So I can take this garden hose and clean out these crusty gecko cups. Now, I'll show this in a minute. I can also take, if you can swing it around, I can also take this garden hose and what was that, 5 seconds?
Mm-hmm.
In 5 seconds, I just misted 10 tanks.
Frank's getting Breaking Bad vibes.
No.
Breaking Bad vibes.
Hope it's not that bad.
Breaking Bad vibes.
So, garden hose, we have a lot of enclosures down here, and that garden hose is invaluable. This right here is on wheels, so that one thing I wanted to try to do a couple of years ago was replace everything with wheels, but it just didn't work out completely that way. Some of our racks still are on not wheels, on just stands, so it is what it is. I wish everything was on wheels. Let me show you this enclosure. I hope that I hope these aren't too dirty, but let me show you. Let's pull this one.
Not really.
Yeah, I'm going to pull one that just sold recently.
You're going to pull one that's sold.
So
that thing gets.
So two things, folks, real quick. Yeah, I'm hoping it doesn't get away. Two things, folks. Here, these are old. These are old racks. I've had these for, I'll guarantee, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
This rack, including the tubs, everything in it, probably cost me 23, 60, 70, about $75 to make the whole thing. So when you start looking at rack systems, and again, this was probably about 15, 18 years ago. When you look at rack systems, try to buy a rack system with, what is this, 21 tubs for under $100. These are 19 quarts, and it's a very, very simple process. Good. So we're not going to bother that one and have it get out, but hopefully you can see this. I'm trying to turn it so that better lighting here, but a simple hide, a couple of egg cartons, plants, and these animals are growing out. Now this one is old enough now that it's sold, or it's sellable. Don't move it. Don't hit the wasp nest. So they're ready to be sold, but they're growing out in these 19 quarts. I hope that makes sense. We have 4 of these racks. I don't even know why you need this. This one will never get out. Yeah,
that's just in case.
Yeah. So we have 4 of these racks, and again, you know, this micro gecko stand, and these are really the heart of what we're doing down here in the Supreme Gecko Facility. We've talked about this. Let's go talk about the 10s over here. You know,
these tanks on the left, as I'm going past, are also baby grow outs for crusties.
Yep. Perfect. Check for questions if anybody has any questions in here.
Angie needs a cutting from the plant in the day gecko tank.
I can do that. Just remind me, and we can come down and get that.
Is that a cat gecko? Where was that?
That was a cat gecko.
Over on the other side, yes.
Yes.
We didn't show it.
A male and 2 females. We can certainly go back if we want to. But let's talk about the 10s just real quick here. And I don't know if we want to go through all of these, but this is another older rack. It's not as old as some of the other ones that we've already seen here, but this rack has 10 gallons on their ends so that they're hard to work with, but I can get a lot of animals into these 10s. We have a Coleonyx elegans, some Pachydaculus. Come over here for just a second on that. We have a scorpion tail that's out and hungry and ready to feed. I can see that good. Another scorpion tail. We have helmeted geckos. We have Hemidactylus tanganyicus, and we have a Pachydaculus fasciatus. Let me see if I can get those helmetids out. They're pretty cool. The helmetids and the scorpion tails, you can show this hopefully on top. This is an Arcadian light for UVB. And if you go up just a little bit more, you can see the canisters providing heat for these helmetids. They need it hot, and they're getting a lot of heat there. Let me see if I can bring in some of these helmetids, and you guys can take a look at them. If I can find them, they're all hiding. Wow, they're all in one place too. This is I've never seen them in one place. So I'm going to pull back so Nanette can get in there. So we're obviously working with a male and two females, and we're just now starting to get some eggs. I'm going to show a baby in just a second too.
Can we see an orange and high white picture later?
Orange and white, high white. Yes, absolutely. We can do that. Perfect. And that'll give us a little bit. That'll give us a little bit of a segue into moving to the next room. Hemidactylus sanguinicus. These guys are pigs. I mean, they eat a lot, and it's hard to keep up with this tank and keeping it clean. You know, I shouldn't even buy animals because we really can't see any here. So I should just say that we have these animals and leave it at that. A couple of empty tanks. Yeah, I think that's it. Couple of empty tanks. I always like to have empty tanks around just in case. This is, I don't have it labeled. This is Nephurus melii. We've got 4 breeding pair of Hemidactylus. Nephurus melii. I'll see if I can find these guys real quick here. They're usually there.
Underneath this log.
You see them?
No, but I bet this is where they're.
You think that's what? I love these cork bark pieces because it just gives them so much of a hiding place. These guys are fascinating. They're just so cool. I hope you guys can see them.
Yes, they're 10-gallon tanks.
And these 10-gallon tanks work for an animal this size so well. These are together all the time. They're cohabitated. So when we hear you can't cohabitate animals, you know, at home, take it with a grain of salt, and it's different for everybody, but you can cohabitate some animals. These guys, go ahead.
Frank wants some tips on sand. I'm having trouble with my sand. It never moves.
The sand never moves?
Does it get hard and clumpy? Is that what you mean?
3 more tanks in the first meeting. We saw the first one, so we're not going to really go back to that. Elaborate just a little bit, Frank, if you wouldn't mind. Okay. Over here, we have another micro gecko rack. This was actually the first one, and because we had some space over there for the second one, we added another one. What can I say here? These are, I was going to show something over here.
Jen, the first tanks that were crested geckos when we first walked in the room are 20 highs.
Yes, 20 highs and
20 highs, right?
29 extra
high.
highs.
My sand doesn't seem to eat or turn into a sand cat. Here I'm trying to be serious and get good questions, and you're being sassy.
Oh, there he is. He's right on the log.
Where? Oh.
So, like I said, we're just now getting eggs from our helmetids, and I'm going to put this one down.
Unholy Trinity is here.
How's it going, folks? They do not like to be held.
Who is this again?
This is a helmetid.
Okay.
Hopefully we can get a good look at that. So one thing that when I started breeding these a few years ago, I had some struggles with raising them up. It was like every other one didn't make it. They'd get to be about a month old and they would die. So what I started to do was give them, obviously, lots of heat, which I was doing before, but I also started giving them some sphagnum moss in one corner just to increase the humidity.
Hi, Gecko Exchange.
How's it going?
Excellent camouflage.
Yes. They blended.
Are you talking about his shirt or the?
Yeah, I'm camouflaged here.
You know, Crystal would have known that was a helmeted right away if she had been here.
She'd know almost all of these. So these guys have grown up all together, and I get asked all the time if these vipers are communal, and you can see that they are. And anybody see the different one sitting there on the left? I hope that's your left. That is a Pachydaculus rugosus. So what I sometimes do is I'll try to cohabitate small geckos and grow them out together if they're very similar in behavior and if they're similar in the speed that they grow out. Okay. So we talked about the micro gecko sand. Folks, I cannot tell you how important this is to our facility. One of my favorite geckos, Periodora vizimba. And I tell you what, this is dirty and it needs to be cleaned here, but I'm going to show you something real quick. I bet you can't even see that gecko. That's how much they blend in. I know it's a little bit dark, but The point being is that I started raising these in these little, 6-quart tubs here.
Is that a 6-quart?
This is a 6-quart.
Okay.
And at one point I had 2 that paired off and they started laying eggs. So now I have 3 pair of Periodor vizimba laying eggs, and I'm hoping that we can get some males and females to distribute to the hobby a little bit more. How's the sound, everybody? So far, so good. We've talked about everything in this room other than the incubator. So you can show the water bottles and how many water. So we'll go through all of those water bottles in 1 week. Easily. So we'll start using, and that's just this side of the room. That's just the east wing. We'll go through all of those water bottles in 1 week. We'll go through them, we'll put them on top of the racks, and then we'll fill them all up at one time. Incubator, you can see we are stuffed here. Hopefully you can kind of get a feel for the eggs in there. I'm going to open the door in just a second. We keep this incubator at about 81 and a half degrees, something like that. Folks, it is loaded. What kind of animals do we have? Well, we have some black knight leopard geckos, Pachydaculus oreophyllus. We have a Cerdidactylus papilionitis. Just found those eggs recently, last month. Hoping for some success there. With my big klutzy hands, I'm sure I'm going to spill one of these eggs somewhere. I'm just checking for babies. I can't do this. This is like a habit. If I open this door, I have to go through and check. So I'm going to do it. So I need a light in here, and I have a light, but it's rechargeable. So I need something different. So I've got my little flashlight here. So I'll go through, and every morning I'll check for any activity in here. And again, since we're filling up so quickly, it's a little bit harder to move everything around and just make sure that there's no babies, but we'll find the babies in the morning, and then I'll go through and I'll put them away. Sorry, folks, now I have to just keep doing this. I can't stop. This group over here is leopard geckos, Coleonyx, banded geckos, Mitratus and Variegatus. We have some cave geckos in here. What else do we have? More Papilionitis. I think I just saw some movement in here somewhere. I thought, maybe not, but I can't stop doing it now. Okay. All right. I was hoping we would have a hatchling so that I could kind of show it off, but nothing today. What's up?
How fast can I check it compared to you? A lot faster. You notice here, if you can see this silver thing, this would be our air conditioner unit. About a year ago, we had to put in a new furnace and air conditioner, and we had a full incubator at the time. It was quite a trick moving this incubator out because it's not on a wheeled stand. And we very, very carefully moved it with my son to another location and plugged it in until they were done with this. He fits everything very tightly in this room. And it was quite a trick. Close the door.
I know I saw something move here.
Close the door.
Of my eye. Okay. Day gecko eggs, cave geckos, banded geckos, a lot of stuff. Meli are going. Our hatching station, so I could quickly pull out, fill it up with Supreme hatch material, and set it up for incubation. Our catch-all, electronical stuff, our junk drawer. Everybody has to have a junk drawer. Our rolling cart. This is the only.
This is my favorite tool.
So those 10,
so they can see it. It's got a little bottle holder, little food holder, and it rolls. It's so nice.
I came down one day to do the 10s on the bottom, and for some reason I must have been thinking about something else, and I missed. Completely, and fell on the floor, and it took me 3.5 hours to get up. No, it didn't. Okay, we've seen everything here. Let's go. So this is okay, folks. So this is the worst of the worst. This is our leopard gecko room. We started in here, but we had maybe 2 or 3 cages. We started building in this room, and we enclosed it all. And again, you can see the handiwork here. This is all, again, 20 years old. Found a door, framed it up, put the plastic on, which again is 20 years old. And it's way overdue for a complete rehaul. But I wanted to concentrate on some other things first. So let's go into the dungeon.
Let me know when you're going to do that rehaul. I'm going on vacation.
So am I.
I'm out of here.
So this room is probably another 2 or 3 degrees warmer. You can see it's old and it needs to be completely redone. I tell you what, these melamine stands that we built here, these 3 stands have worked out so well for so many years. Our baby Periodora picta, some grow out Periodora picta in here, some grow out leopard geckos, and you can kind of move over a little bit and then to show real quick our adult leopard geckos. We don't have many. And
this would be the breeding side.
And over here, Nanette.
I'm coming. You gotta let me turn around in the close quarters in here.
Do it. So behind me was a new stand about 2 years ago that we put in. What was here? I can't even remember. Oh, this was
wood. It was
another melamine white stand. And it was
it worked.
So this has worked out. Sorry, this has worked out really well for grow out Periodora picta. We have some banded geckos growing up and also paired off in here. This has worked out really well, but you can see the maintenance to do these tanks is a little bit much. It's a pain. So this is maybe one of the next racks that we replace. Probably not this year, probably beginning of next year. Okay. Let's talk about Periodora picta. What were the requests? A red and a white?
Red and white.
Red and white. Okay, red. Let me think about reds. I know I had a red in here somewhere.
Here's a red.
We'll come back to that if this one isn't one of our reds. This is how we have our Periodora picta set up. A little bit messy here, but I've gone over to, and certainly they had to poop in their hide. But I've set these up. I used to have their hides over the sand, and I've set them all up with this damp hide like this. Take the top off and search for eggs. What I found was that since we had to replace the heat cable in this rack, their hides get a little bit warmer, which is okay, but it also dries out so quickly. So these damp hides work out so much better. Okay, let's see if we can find some of these, hopefully. Okay, I'm going to hope that we can, let me get this out so we can maybe get it under more color. So this is an older animal, and you can see some of his colors still, but another really nice dark animal. And when they were young, they were super red, super red. Really nice animals. Okay.
This
white.
One, you can't talk as long on this one.
Okay. Are you getting hot?
It's like 100 degrees in here. Holy cow.
White.
Red.
Okay. This is a lighter one. I hope.
You can talk as long as you want.
This isn't the lightest one, but these are really...
It's a pretty white one.
Nice. And again, as they get older, folks, these Periodora picta, they'll start dropping some of their colors. Nice red going there. Let's take a peek at this one right here.
Weren't we just in that one?
No, we're over here.
Oh.
I was hoping it would show a little bit lighter, but another real nice combination. All right. We're going to go one more, then we're going to jump out of this. I'll talk about these.
Oh, boy. Well, she's gonna lay eggs in there, maybe.
Yep, she's probably in there laying eggs. Let's see if I can find the other animal here. Nice red. Again, mature animal. It's lost some of its red. I'm going to check real quick here. Talk about this stand, and I'm going to check 2 more containers to see if I can find.
The black stand? This would be the one, the custom made stand, the first one that you got. And it has, I don't even know what's in here anymore. Levis are in here. And the Oreos are in here too, right? Levis,
you have
a Pictus?
I have a real nice light one again as as it grows a little bit older, it will start looking a little bit different, but nice broad stripe, super nice broad stripe.
Is there one in here? Levis.
I don't.
Well, you might have them in another tank breeding.
Let me show you
I couldn't tell.
the Levis in here because I think I moved over. I did. I moved over my male in here. So let's see if they're under this cup. Nope. Bear with us, folks. And I'll get my arm out of here. Hopefully everybody can see that.
Look at those white tummies.
I tell you, it's so hard to keep up sometimes. You know, I tried to clean as often as I can. We just cleaned everything a couple days ago. So I love these Levis. These Levis are so fun to work with. Okay.
This one's 16 enclosures.
Let's go ahead and show this.
They all have the custom lighting inside. They all have heat.
Oops.
What are we showing? Oh,
I'm getting a. Anybody know what that is?
I don't know if I can get it even. Oof, that might not be good. Sorry, guys. Do they lay directly on the sand? Yes.
They do. See if we have them in here. Probably have.
Oh, here we go. Gonna puff up for us.
Probably. I just worried about the door opening. This is Nephurus wheeleri. Wheeleri cinctus.
Again, Crystal would have not asked that question.
Okay. Now over here is
one of our newer stands.
Newer stands. We're not going to try to get in here, but I do want to talk about these. This is our, and I tried to do this as standard as I possibly could with this rack with the animals in it. Egg carton, slate, egg carton, food dish, water dish, and another little hide. And these are Pachydaculus McLaughlini. And I tell you what, we're going to open this. We're going to see gray animals. I'm going to do this and have one of them on the egg carton, but not the easiest to work around. But
are they hiding?
They are hiding.
Oh, that's a great.
That one actually has a double tail, and there it goes.
Up down the back.
So is that one that has a double tail? Yeah, two little pieces of the tail, which is really weird. I think it lost it, and then it started regrowing. So the other one is probably right here. But what happens is that they, under this egg carton, there's a pile of sand. Hopefully you saw it. They'll lay in the sand, and I can go in and pick up the eggs. Now, with McLaughlini, what I found was, and I tell you, they look great, but their babies are so beautiful. They'll lay in there, and they really won't bother their babies. But simple setups, and that's on purpose so that I can go through and I can maintain really as quickly as I possibly can. Pachydaculus aureophyllus. We have Pachydaculus rugosus. I don't know if we can find these animals. These are really super cool animals as I bounce the door.
The gray thing on the side here?
I don't think so. They're usually not.
Oh, wait, there's one on the side.
You see him? That is the female. You can tell because she
got
is
big cheeks.
Fully calcified.
Just kind of checking it out.
Put these back. Put these back. Pachydaculus fasciatus babies over there that are growing out. Need another group of them. And then at the very bottom are two groups of viper geckos. Love the viper geckos. Lots of eggs from them. So this is the perfect situation to work in. The only problem is to work on those vipers. Again, it's such a low tank. I have to have some kind of a workaround. Perfect. And I can wheel this around and work on this tank and work on some of the other ones. And I said this in the video that I just recently did about these three enclosures, they were on wheels. And I took the wheels off, actually. and put them on blocks just to get them up another foot or so off the ground. Had to do that because they were impossible for me at least on the bottom. If I can suggest anything when you guys are building new racks, you're going to regret putting stuff on the floor. You're just going to regret it. If you go, once we get into the other room, as you go around, and you can see it here, you can see we've gradually started bringing things up to eye level, down to about this level, so that we can easily work with them and see them and manage them so much better. Okay, let's go to the other room. What else in here? I don't think so. Your eggs are this back. So, Carinora pigna. As we get eggs, we go ahead and add them to our trays. Label them. Everything has a number, so we pull the number off the container, and then we put it on the top, and we date it. And I rifle through all of these containers once a day or 10 times a day and see if we get any eggs. Everything's on thermostats. You can see we're all set up. We have thermostats running everything in this room, actually. Everything is on a thermostat. Thermostats. Folks, put your racks on thermostats. I want to show you a real quick process. So, this morning I came down, just got this new mat, and how do you like it? Yeah, I know it's rolling up on me, I can't manage it. So, I got these Bavaye eggs this morning. Angie can barely hear you. Okay. Microphone disconnected somehow, okay. We were kind of walking around, so maybe it might have been my phone. I just got these Bavaye eggs this morning, and it looks like the hatching material is a little dry. The eggs look great, but I don't want them to sit in dry material, so I'm going to take this diffuser bottle. Can you hear better now? And I'm just going to add, you can see that it's darkening up on that side of the diffuser. And put the top on, snap it into place. I come over here, and everything is in one place. Everything is in the same place as I left it. So I know my pen and my razor blade, everything's in one place. I sound like Sheldon now, don't I? You sound like you're underwater to that. I sound like I'm underwater. It might be the fans. It might be the fans. So I put a date on it. Always have my tape right there. Plenty of air holes in here, so that will go right into the incubator. Not now, because then you'll spend time looking again. Can I go over and check? No. Okay. I'm not going to check the incubator. Okay. Folks, I think we hit this room. How are we doing on time? We're at 5:15. Oh. I don't know if you can catch that, but we've got baby D geckos growing up in this tank. We have a Hawaiian D gecko here, Latticata latticata. We have Aerodactyloides agricoli over in that tank, just now starting to get eggs. I tell you what, folks, it is starting to go crazy here on the facility with the different types of eggs. Oh, ran around the side. Yeah, they're pretty shy. Now, they'll eventually turn to the point where they'll be a little bit more tame. Lygodactylus kimholite here. These are our flying gecko pair. I'm hoping that I'm starting to see signs of activity. What they'll do is they'll glue their eggs to the side of one of these walls, and we'll take a cup and we'll cover them over and wait for them to hatch up. So, looking forward to our flying geckos to start probably breeding in the next couple of weeks. Another round of some velvet geckos. These are Odora. It has a new name. I can't even think. Odora robusta. And I think we have 3 in here. He has them labeled on the tanks. That's how he remembers them. Yeah. I can't remember the Nugent. genus name though. What am I doing here? I'm gonna see if I can find this guy. This isn't Thomas, right? No. Okay. I'm gonna put his full name back. This is not the rarest gecko that I have. I don't see the female though, but this is Periodora gracilis. That's the male. Oh,
Okay.
we're done in here.
Yeah, we're done.
You don't want them to go to.
I don't want to have to show an episode of us catching them.
What can I say about this area? It's congested. It's very congested.
Here is lots of storage for different things that we need. And then over here are eggs.
I'm going to take a look at the eggs. I'll finish off over here. I want to say though, this is the hard part about this is the electronics here is almost impossible, and I've never found a cure for congestion with electronics. It feels like it is what it is. If anybody has some suggestions, I'll take suggestions.
Sound is back to normal. It might be just that location of the basement. Yep. Sorry.
Crested gecko eggs. We started getting eggs probably a month ago,
at least.
And we can check some eggs here. But this is how we do it. We put them in. We've only got a couple ready to hatch here, but we put them in these trays. This is. I hope the light is working here. This is moist. It's damp, but it's not, super wet. It's not super wet at all. Let's see if I can get a better example right here in this one. I don't even know if I want to open this up. So,
you've got a baby.
I collected babies yesterday.
Oh my gosh. If I close up
so they are just now starting to hatch out for us. Nice. Let me check one more. Now I have to check eggs. See, once I get started.
No more after this one.
Okay. So nothing there. You can see this is probably a bad egg here. This might be a bad egg. First eggs of the season are always kind of iffy, but looks like they're going. I'll put that aside.
Frank says your shelf is scaring them, and then they want to know about control of humidity in our basement. Do we ever have to control it?
We don't. Humidity is a tough thing. I control it by each enclosure. So if I feel that an enclosure needs more humidity, gracilis. Let's go back to this gracilis. You can see what I've done here. The whole bottom is sphagnum moss. So I want this animal to be a little bit more humid. So I'll do the sphagnum moss, so we'll go through and we'll mist. Now, of course, it has the airflow, and they need lots and lots and lots of airflow. So for an animal like the Urodactyloides, the larvae, they don't need as much. They need the humidity. They need to drink the water. They don't need to have the high humidity all the time. So you can see that it's a fairly bare tank, but we mist and it stays humid for about a day. Hopefully that helps. Okay, this is another rack from Wisconsin Custom Cages. 3x4. We keep Periodoras bastardi, Coleonyx midratus. We're going to see a couple of those animals in just a second. We keep some cave geckos in here. Love this size for a cave gecko. Periodora bastardi. And check this out, folks. So I misted these guys, and you can see that it's staying fairly humid in here because there's still moisture on the front panels. Periodora bastardi.
How quick is this?
Fairly quick. We're going to move this guy. You can see one right back there. Can you see it? Hopefully.
I'm back. Wow. I think I got it.
So this is another animal that looks okay as an adult, but their babies are phenomenal. Phenomenal. Okay. So down here is Coleonyx midratus, Central American banded gecko. I have these hides. I can see that they didn't lay in here simply because it hasn't been disturbed since the last time I checked. But I'll go through and kind of do a feel for the eggs. Hopefully you guys can see that. I know it's a little bit dark here, but I feel nothing in the hide. But let's see if we can find the midratus here. Usually they're hiding right. Usually. right here. Oops, and it's gone.
That's bigger than I thought.
I'm going to see if I can get them out here. I don't know if I can. Get everything in the way. I don't want to do any damage here.
This is quick.
They're not so, they're leopard gecko quick.
Okay.
So not too bad. Hopefully you can get that. Love those animals. Started working with them about 3 years ago again. And got my first eggs a couple of weeks ago.
Do we plan on putting most of our collections into these style of condos that they're in?
No. We're going. What's that? No. So really, we talked about a couple of different changes that I'd like to make. That back rack that we saw with the, you have to pull it down, you have to open it. Variegatus were in there, and the grow out Peridora picta are in there, and I'd like to move that rack. I'd eventually like to do something with the crusteds in the 10 or in the 20 gallons, and do something with that
But
rack.
not into these.
Something similar to
Yeah,
this,
okay.
something similar, but not as elaborate, I guess. Okay, these are cave geckos. Hopefully that's showing. Love the cave geckos. I'm going to see if I think the one in the middle here going down, and I've got to get my little stool out. So I've got this really super cool little stool that is so portable. I can move it anywhere, and I can work on these bottom tanks. The 3 bottom ones are actually empty right now, just waiting for some more animals. Hint, hint. Minute, hint, hint.
No.
So see if you can get in here, Nanette. I don't know if you can.
I don't have the handy dandy stool.
But these cave geckos should have already laid eggs. So I wanted to explain real quick how we do this. We do this little plastic, again, do-it-yourself kind of hide. What is this, like Chinese food?
Chinese food container, probably.
And put a little notch in it, and it works perfect for these guys. It gives them just enough protection, cover over their heads, and then I keep this area right here moist,
And mounded.
slightly damp and mounded, and usually, watch me be a liar here. Oh, I felt it. So I'm not, crunching in here. I'm just kind of dragging my fingers through, but I felt one already. And I can feel it there. 1 egg. 2 egg. So I'm going to keep them right here over the moist, over the damp. I keep saying that word, and I'm trying so hard to stay away from it, folks, because you guys said don't use the word. I'm going to keep it over that damp area. I'm going to come back after we do the show, and I'm going to put those eggs away. I just wanted to show you kind of how we do these cave geckos. I think we've seen most everything. Another pair of Peridora there. Let's go into the.
This would be the tight quarters.
Look
We
at
can
this
barely
one.
get carts through this.
I can't have any more Twinkies, or else I'm not going to fit through here. So the hallway, we saw the east wing. We're working our way toward the west wing. And I'm going to take a real quick drink. Let's talk about the gargoyles. And while you take a drink, talk a little bit about these enclosures.
I'm supposed to drink and talk.
Well, you took your drink, now you can talk. I'll be right back.
These are, I believe, here, it tells you right on the side. I think they're 58 quart containers. He has cork bark in there. There's a hide, the food dishes, the water dish. There's egg crates stacked on one side. And there are 15, I believe, on this rack.
We just
Breeders, yeah, they've made a mess. They're terrible when they eat. They tip their water dishes over. Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Piggy in here.
These already tipped their water dish, it looks like. Simple setup here, folks. Very simple setup. There's one right there. You've got the hide.
The other one is right here.
I'm just checking the hide to see if I see eggs. I don't. But we'll check we'll go through every time we feed, and or at least once a week, and check the hide. Very basic water dish, food dish. This is in here, the cork part, just to kind of keep the egg cartons in place. And 99% of the time, they'll be right on the cork bark.
Right here, hiding.
Cool. But that's our basic setup. I did this rack like 5 years ago.
How ancient are these bins?
How ancient? They're pretty
They're
old.
probably 10 years old.
You think they're that old?
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm getting you seasick here. It's like you're on a roller coaster ride.
Do you think they're about 10 years old?
I think they're close to 10.
So, again, they're so functional, it's going to be hard. I think that's our alarm.
We'll show you our feeder bugs in a few minutes. He puts the bugs, we use mealworm cups for the worms and the crickets. Actually, we'll drop them in there. He also uses small deli cups, like the 1 pounder that you would get in the grocery store. We put crickets in there and set it down in there, so they have to go down into it. It kind of keeps them contained a little bit.
I'll dust the crickets, and 90% of them will stay in this little cup, and it's just deep enough to keep them and allow the gargoyles to get in there. So again, very functional. You can see this is just a 2x2 screwed in, and the tubs were I don't know how much were they, $15 a piece?
No, they weren't that much. They were cheaper for 10 years ago.
The wood was probably $10. Screws $10. I don't know. So I've got a video on this that I put out probably about 3 years ago comparing these tubs. This one was set up 15 gargoyles, and what it costs to put together this setup compared to the condos that we just saw, and the cost comparison is just so blatantly in favor of this setup. So what I would suggest is, if you're just starting off and you want to play with some animals before, just to get a feel for them, this is the way to go. Set up an enclosure like this. We have plenty of air holes. I've got my garden hose. I can go through and mist this whole rack in less than a minute. Really nice spread sitting on this rack. Some really nice spreads.
Well, and this was, we'll be out of the water in a minute, hopefully, Angie. This also, once we moved into these sizes, we upgraded them from the 20s. They started breeding a lot better. A lot more.
Oh gosh, yes. A little bit bigger. We can focus more on the animals. Look at that one. Let's see if I can
Chunky monkey.
find one of these. I don't know if I can find them. They're all buried in. I was hoping to find some of the threads that we're doing here. Let's talk about this rack. So, what was here before? Do you remember what was over on this side?
There was no rack.
And guys, again, if you have questions about this, if you want us to slow down and talk in more detail on any of this, let us know.
This was not here. You added this rack because we figured that we could still open the bugworm door if we moved it on wheels.
There's less room now to get into the bugworm. That little journeyway into the hallway. So these are some more cave geckos, and I'm going to show you real quick here. Basic setup with the hide, a couple of animals, a couple of cave geckos are getting a little bit older. These are our older groups. The other side is our younger groups. Feeding dish, water dish, just a log for them to play around. I'm sure that there's one in there right now. And again, real simple setup. I've got the commercial vent in here so that we can mist. Very basic. A small layer of like a jungle mix just to, when we mist, to keep in that humidity. Works out really well for us. I've got numbers on all the bins, as you can see, just like the gargoyles that we saw earlier. So when we pull, and on the hides, I have the same number, G2, G3. So when we pull those bins, we can write right on the tape the animals, so that I can put it right into my spreadsheet. See, Frank, I had to say it. we can put it right into our spreadsheet and watch the numbers, make sure that, you know, we're not getting, they're still breeding, obviously, and we're not getting too many bad eggs. What else? I'm not going to pull them out. This is Sordactylus papillionitis, pretty quick. Another one of my favorite geckos.
There are not any isopods in any of those bins, no.
There's not, there could be. I'm going to tell you why not. And I just saw a video done by the Gecko Exchange podcast. Wonderful, wonderful lady. I can't remember her site name, her website name, her company name, but she was talking about cave geckos, and she said that she had isopods in hers. I've literally seen, and not with cave geckos or some others, but crusted geckos. I had a crusted gecko once in a bioactive, and maybe the egg was already bad. I don't know, but I didn't want to test it. But I had isopods in there. Now, granted, it was a protein hungry isopod. I don't think it was dairy cows, but something similar. Probably a powder blue or powder orange, and they had eaten through the egg. So I just worry about that. So my theory is, why chance it if you don't have to? So we don't have isopods in here. We have springtails and many of them, just to kind of keep up with some of the mold issues. If we ever have any mold issues, I always see, you know, the springtails take off when I put them in. This is Sordactylus ela. I wanted to show this animal because this is a pretty cool animal. If I can find her. Did you find her? Maybe under here. Maybe. Not. But oh, there she is. There she comes. I want to show her because her tail is. She'll jump right out. No, she won't. Take a look at that tail, folks. I hope she doesn't jump right out. The camera's going to go flying backwards. When they have babies, that tail is black and white and alternating black and white. It's so cool. Here's somebody jumping over there. You got somebody moving. Again, one of my favorite geckos. Not very. You okay? Is your camera okay still? Yeah. It's located in here. I didn't move it. Okay. How do you like to do your coating, your gecko coating? You number your bins. Yeah. So what we'll do is, you know what? Let's do this. Hold tight for just a second. We do not have ant issues. I haven't had that problem, thank goodness. Well, we had an issue earlier in the year. Did we? We had an issue. Sorry, I didn't know. That's right. We had an issue with ants in our incubator one day. I came in, and they had climbed up the wagon. They had gotten into one container of eggs, and I think I had a bad egg in there. And there were teeny tiny brown ants, and we immediately stopped it with putting. I don't know if you remember seeing. Go back and take a look at it, but around our incubator's legs, we have cinnamon. So we put cinnamon on the floor. And that stops the ants. You know, we had how many years and we've never had an ant problem. Right. I tell you what, one time that you have them and it's to your eggs and it scares the bejeebers out of you and you stop doing it. So again, I wish I had a gargoyle. I do have a gargoyle. So G5, and I've got the date. Hopefully you can see that. So G5, you know, up on top over there and the date. So that's how we keep track of the eggs. So we mark the eggs that way. I'm going to put the egg. When they hatch, then we put that sticker on their tank that they're growing up in as well. Yeah. So that we know what the parent is. And we completely redo a label for the babies. And we'll show you that in just a minute. Should we walk into the bug room? Yeah, and get it over with. Okay. This would have been the bathroom. When I had daycare, the West Wing was my daycare that he took over within a week of me being retired from daycare. This is the bug room, extremely tight, extremely hot. We've got fly strips in here just in case we get flies. And you can see we've got a couple of flies in here, but not many. These strips have been hanging for a long time. Where do I start?
Well, up on top are the babies that I harvested a couple weeks ago for the dubias. And then there's peanut beetles over there. And that he uses.
I always like to go with at least 2 cultures of anything just in case. And these guys are going nuts.
There's beetles that are mealworm beetles. These are still peanut beetles.
Dorset beetles, just to kind of play around with them. We'll go through and we'll set up a bin of mealworm beetles. So if I get the little pupa, I'll always pull them out and keep them separate so that then once they hatch into beetles, I'll throw them into that bin. And we don't really do anything with it other than just feed it once in a while. But you can see here, you know, it doesn't look like a lot, but there's a lot of little little worms in here. Lots and lots and lots.
Top on the back shelf there are dwarf whites. These are more.
These are mealworms from 520 that I pulled the beetles out and let them grow up the eggs. You can see. So you're asking now, why do you do that when you buy 40,000 mealworms every single month? Well, the reason I do this is so that I always have them, just in case I get a bad shipment in or something goes wrong where I can't get mealworms. I have something to hold me over at least a week or 2.
And she's going to come steal mealworm beetles.
Come get them. So
the blue top containers over his shoulder are all dwarf white containers. And then over here are the fire brats. If you guys saw the video that he did, this is the fire brats, right?
Yes.
This one too, because now you have 2 of them.
Actually, I have 3.
Oh, okay.
Because they are in demand right now. Hopefully you guys can see all these fire brats. I'm going to turn over this big one on the bottom because there's a bunch. There's a bunch.
And then on the bottom of that rack, and then don't hit me. This rack here is all dubia breeders. And then there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 cultures of dubia breeders. And then the bottom, those white containers are all springtails. And the buckets for sorting and harvesting bugs. Used to be a bathroom.
Oops. Sorry, I just walked into you.
Sorry.
Anything else with this room?
No, it's the bug room.
Okay,
it's not exciting.
Everybody's done with the bug room.
Bug room, yuck.
Yeah, bug room stays at around 82, 83, 84, something like that. We keep it at about 82 degrees just for the dubias alone. But you know what?
It gets hotter in there, though.
The dubias do great in there. The fire brats are over a heat mat that's probably about 100 degrees, 95 to 100 degrees, and they're just going like crazy. Okay, talk about this. This is another Wisconsin.
I'm just trying to get a length of it.
This is another Wisconsin custom cage rack. This is the big one. This is the big dog. We've got, oh my gosh, so many things going on here. I'll start with the top. So on the top, we have Stenodactylus stenodactylus. I just want to show you just real quick here.
Right there. Another one.
They're actually, you probably can't tell, but they're actually burrowing into the substrate. So we'll keep the substrate really, really wet there. And you can see that it packs really well. I was just trying to feel through to see if I had any eggs in there. Oh, somebody's curious. That's a big female right there. Oh, is that an egg? Nope, not an egg. So we'll check for eggs about once every week or so. I just got these groups and really excited to work with them again. Sorry, cross over there.
Fine.
Chondrodactylus, trying to think, yes, Chondrodactylus angulifera.
This is crabby.
One of my dream animals. They're kind of crabby.
On the back.
You guys can see that these setups are very, very basic. I don't like to overdo simply because we have these animals here.
Is this a pair?
This is a pair. I'm looking for eggs. So you can see what I'm doing is just kind of sifting through, feeling for eggs. I'm gonna put the high, I didn't feel any, but let me pull.
She's peeking in the back.
Yeah, I can see that. Let me go ahead. How about that, folks? I tell you, I'm just in love with this animal. This is
I hope you can see that.
anybody with
What kind of
questions?
sand?
This is Reptile sand.
You're right, Frank.
It works really, really well. It doesn't compact that well. Now, I have a different type of sand, and I can't remember the name.
I don't remember what that was.
I think it's a Zoom Ed sand, but
Ooh, Mr. Feisty's out.
oh, is yeah. Put that tank back.
Batman.
So go ahead and tell the story.
I don't know. Is the Crystal name these guys?
So Crystal has
He's not nice.
given
though.
these to. These are Kaiserlingi.
If I throw back quick, it's because he's going to charge.
And here he comes. So
Look at him.
these
Look
are
at him. He's gonna
Kaiserlingi.
hide.
Oh, they're
He's
hiding.
Good.
I think that was the female, Nanette. So
whatever.
luckily the male wasn't out.
She's a little feisty. Really? Ooh. Now we're in trouble.
Yeah.
A little feisty.
Hopefully you get a good feel for these. And they were just introduced a couple of days ago. So I'll keep them in here for, a couple more days.
For a reason you don't use play sand.
I do. I actually
We
do
use
in a
that
lot
too.
of situations, like the Periodora picta are overplay. Some of the Periodora picta are overplay sand. The babies I keep overplay sand. Some animals are kept overplay sand. Usually what I'll do is I'll keep like my Chondrodactylus overplay sand. But I wanted to set up these, uniquely and consistently, and that's why I went with this sand. Good question though. Boy, oh boy. Hemidactylus, I'm just going to go through these names just to kind of throw them out, but Hemidactylus prashadi, and we'll never ever open this tank. We haven't opened the tank in 2.5 years. No.
We just got this.
We open the tank, we fill the water dish, and we throw the food, and we get out. They're so fast. The babies are just amazing, beautiful. Benoye, the parthenogenic gecko, getting lots of eggs from them currently. Another tank of Hemidactylus tanganicus. I love the tanganicus. In fact,
I was just going to say, give me the little chair and I'll sit down and open up the tank.
Okay.
Because then I can see.
If
I can't do it.
you can, let's check for eggs. Normally they'll lay their eggs, and that's going to show you how she can sift through to find the eggs. You can do the eggs, you can do the very back hide, or you can do the rocks, the slate. So we've got the slate set up, as you can see, in a vertical alignment, because they like to stay in between the rocks.
One. Here's one.
There you go. Nice big eggs, big healthy eggs.
And they hang out in between the slate. The animals do. You can see one of the animals there. So if I pull this to the side here, take it right out. I can check where that mound is and just see if there's anything else in here. Nope.
I bet you
They're probably
normally
buried in the far back.
There you go.
Before I what? Oh,
Get too much further.
yeah. Here's the egg.
I bet you if we went through this, we'd find at least a dozen eggs.
Whoa. Oh, look at that, right up on top the egg was. Here's another egg.
And easy to pick these eggs up. It's not difficult whatsoever. They're very firm, hard shelled.
Mess it up a little bit. This one's a really, look at the calcium sacs on that girl. Oh boy.
Girl.
Girl. She's not, well, she wasn't too happy with me being there. There's another egg. These guys just lay and lay and lay. There's another one. Oh my goodness, babe. I felt like going, but maybe not. Okay. You got 4 there. I'm going to leave them in here until you're ready to incubate.
I'll come back right after this video and grab them. Thank you for harvesting. It's
No
just like
problem.
chickens. Just go in
Who's
and
down here now?
down
Again?
here are cave geckos. So we can see this is Juliensis. Juliensis, and it's too far down for me to try to get them out. Lui.
The tanks just have the water dish, the food dish, piece of wood, and the far back is a hide. And then this is their lay box, and it's a pretty good size lay box. And if anybody's in it. Nope. Must be hiding out in back. Somebody needs to lay off their calcium. And then this is Juliensis again.
Juliensis, which is different.
That is what?
I can't read it.
I can't remember.
I can't remember either. I'm drawing a blank.
I almost said miscellaneous, but that's wrong.
Yeah, it's Goniosaurus hanians.
Hanians.
No, it's Juliensis.
Juliensis. Miscellaneous.
Okay.
And then this rack also is on the bricks to lift it up higher because we can't sit on the floor to do this anymore because we're too old. Couldn't get up if we wanted to. So we use a little old daycare chair. Here's the, what is this? The vivarium is the heat thermostat. I can't think. Thermostat. And our little pooper scooper up here.
Oh my gosh.
Got to have that handy all the time.
Oh my gosh, what a lifesaver. Okay. Is it crusty gecko time?
It would be.
Okay,
sorry.
We're kind of winding down. We've still got to talk about the isopods. You want to do the isopods before we do the crusty geckos?
Well, there's like multiple places for isopods. This is one rack inside one of our closets. This house, when we bought this house, was incredible with the amount of closet space they built in. But this is some of our isopods. This one is the Gestroy. And look at how full that baby is. Lots of them. She's got the leaves on one side. There is sphagnum moss underneath where they're at. There's wood in here. And they were just fed yesterday, so they're chowing down some of the food. There's some millipedes in here. And then different types of isopods in this setup. Storage on the side for all the miscellaneous.
Need lots
food
of
for all the isopods. There's still some mushrooms up there, Angie. Our leaf bags down here, and then the other end of the closet is part of its storage, and then there's more isopods on that side.
So is that all of our leaf bags?
No, there's like 40 of them in the garage.
Okay, let's walk over, and we're going to finish off the isopods, and then we're going to go over to the rest of the geckos. You don't have
this is another rack of isopods. There's like three spaces for these. This is my least favorite closet to work in because it's tighter. And then we have isopods on this side, all the way around this corner. Get some lights over here.
Trying
maybe
to get the lights on.
I'm going to pull that rack back a little.
Maybe.
Just a little bit.
So we did these racks a year ago.
And this is all isopods on here. There's Panda Kings are over here. The clowns are over here. My favorite Punta Cana. There's one batch over here, one on the other side. Bunch of powder blues. All different kinds over here. And then on top of that are crusted geckos as well. This rack is the big rack. And this one's got some of the Orange koi are on here. We got some huffs on here. A couple of the rare things that we like to play with, but expansus and the Bolivaria are up there. These are all the different ones. Crystal and I feed all these isopods now together, and we do it in about an hour's time.
Yeah, I'm pushing this rack behind or in front of our
your old
right.
incubator.
Right. I'm going to do
The
this.
other one.
But that incubator will start up like, I wanted to turn the light on.
Oh, okay.
That's okay.
Then this is
That's
our
our other sink
old
area.
kitchen sink. This was a daycare kitchen at one point, so we kept the sink area, and we have the collapsible hose that we fill up, and it will then just as you get rid of the water, it just kind of closes up into that sink. It's a lot easier to use, and this one goes all the way across the room, and that is used for misting all the crested geckos on this side and the gargoyles. On this side,
tons of
this
worm
red thing is a
containers,
shelving
mealworm.
unit that technically is a stair escape unit from the old daycare room.
Oh my God!
This is the
that was
old
one of the
staircase
stairs?
that we
Wow.
used to have up against that back wall for the escape window
Wow.
if there was a emergency. Do you ever share species lists of all your species that you keep?
For geckos or isopods? Come over here and
How do heating for the WCC racks work? Is that the wire rack?
Yeah, I can go over there. Come over here, and I just want everybody to see a
See the
view.
mess?
See the mess. So
This is all of his storage.
lots
for
of storage,
different things.
more water bottles. Folks, you wouldn't imagine how much
It's
water
still a
we go
daycare
through.
area. Yeah, in some ways it is. And then the water up on top of the refrigerator, we save all these bottles every time we have something.
Over there is
The refrigerator this is used strictly for geckos. You're gonna really.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, I don't put food down
clean,
here.
right?
It's our mealworms, extra gecko diet. You got it?
Yeah.
I'm letting go.
So crested gecko diet, we mixed a little bit too much last time. Some white worms on the bottom. All carrots, ready to feed the bug room. More mealworms. We keep them in the fridge for a couple of weeks, and then we'll take them out and either use them or we'll just let them warm up. And then what's wrong?
I said I should have stepped back here before the motion light went on.
So we've got a couple of motion lights going on. We'll get back to the heating.
No waffles in that fridge. No food that people eat in this fridge.
So last time we ordered was 6/5 of 24. We're due for an order probably within
a couple of weeks.
Yeah, a couple of weeks. We've been going through a lot of cricket. Oh my gosh. I don't think anybody's going to be able to see in there, but
well, the light might go on. There is an automatic light back here, but this is where we keep all the deli cups, hides, the new hides that we purchased at the dollar store when we're out shopping, just all kinds of storage. A lot of extra tanks that he's changed out things. So the hoarder that he is, we can't get rid of any of them. The old incubators that we used to use. So we have that stuff if we have an emergency and we can get to those things.
you never know when you need something.
Yeah,
right?
well, no.
Right, everybody?
No.
You never know when
No,
you need something.
we don't
throw
need.
it away.
I could get a dumpster and have a fun day getting rid of stuff.
Okay.
All right, then we have like our little wheeled carts that we work with. This one is set up for isopod feeding or catching for orders. I have mealworm buckets. Got a low on my sphagnum. Got to fill that up and get it wet again. I have my cups down on the bottom of that shelf, and we use this cart is like invaluable. We use it everywhere. It's a perfect height.
Just show back here just real quick.
Down there is our bale of sphagnum moss that we break off pieces, some cocoa fiber, wood for the isopods.
We'll talk about crested geckos in just a second. We have
another cart,
more wood over here,
wood down here. Anywhere that we can put a plastic container and store things, we try to utilize as much space that way. Down along the bottom of the gargoyle tanks, you're going to see tons of containers. That's peat moss, dirt, sand, mixes for certain things. If we need it quick, we can just go in and get it.
Heating. And
we'll
finish off with our crested geckos real quick here. Our heating. What can I say about this? We have,
well, this is all built in.
We have the thermostats on everything. That's the only thing that I kind of added. All the lighting. I don't know if you can get a shot of the lighting.
Is there an empty one I can go right up into? Maybe a little easier. I'll try. This might be a little dizzy.
You guys are going to get dizzy.
I don't know if you can see the light is back here. It's in the front of the thing. I didn't even realize where it was. Now I know. It has the back. You can see that there are vents back there. All of these containers have been screened. We have modified them and put screen on the back of those so that nothing can get out in case we have a little one hatch in a tank that we aren't not knowing at the time. But everything is screened off for these tanks.
The heating is, checking things up. The heating is heat tape. Again, it's routed out, and Cody has put the heat tape. You can pull the heat tape out, you can put it back in. Now that everything's set, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, but we could easily pick up one of these rolls, move it aside, take the heat tape out if we had a problem with the heat tape, and put another piece of heat tape in. I don't know if that would ever be a problem, but just in case, it's available. And then from the heat tape, we just plug it into the thermostat, and we control everything again through thermostats. Hopefully that answered your question on heating these units.
Do you do anything to control for fungus gnats?
You saw the strip up before. That's about it. Speaking of fungus gnats, again, this is full transparent. We had a problem.
They were bad.
They were bad, and they're still bad. They're still
They
terrible.
just kind of are here.
In about 2 weeks ago, when did we clean these? About 2 weeks ago?
Butterwort and sundews work wonders. Are those plants?
Those are plants. Okay. For a facility this large, we'd need 7,643, or one really, really super big one. So we had a problem. We cleaned these about 2 weeks ago, and we made the decision to put paper towel in the bottoms of these.
Wrong move.
What?
It was wrong.
Oh, it was wrong. It was a bad move. And folks, you're going to pull bad moves. We pulled a bad move. We put paper towel in the bottom. Our thought was that paper towel would work really super well for, oh my gosh, they're bad. The paper towel would work really well for keeping the humidity. I'm trying to see if they're already real poopy.
They got wet.
They get wet. They don't dry out. And that's because the ventilation in these aren't super great. So
you're going to have a hard time cleaning these, aren't you?
We are going to have a hard time.
You are. You notice I said you.
So we have these hides in here, and they work really super well. That already provides humidity. We miss them, and what I'll actually do in the next probably month is I'll put screens, vents in all of these, and that will allow us to, rather than open them up, we'll be able to just do the
quick spray,
quick misting like we do for the adults and the babies. But putting paper towel was a disaster, and I can see flies all over right now. And the flies have come in the last probably 2 days. So
of course
we'll go through. Yeah, of course. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. So we'll go through probably, we're going to clean these out this weekend.
You are. Frank
Monday,
says Tuesday. I will take no part in the cleaning. I like Frank.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to be a monster job, but it's got to be done. So in the next few days, we'll take the paper towels, clean, and dry everything out, and we'll get rid of and it's not fungus gnats. It's not fruit flies. I don't know what it is. It's some kind of little tiny fly about the same size as a fruit fly, but it absolutely is not, because they fly a lot quicker than fruit flies. Yeah, and they don't go anywhere, right? They don't go anywhere. So anyways, big mistake we learned, and it's not so many that we're getting bothered by them. I don't know if you guys have seen any flies on the video, but put up strips, and that helps. And usually we'll have a strip over by the worms, because the worms sometimes will get a couple of flies. The water rooms, you didn't show the worms. The water room will get some flies in it. This would be the worms that we're ready to use to feed.
So these guys, if you notice that little white dish that he just pulled out of there, that was a, oh, we're back underwater. That was the dish for crested gecko diet, and there might have been some dry in there, and we'll flip them upside down and let the mealworms eat those. Sorry, Angie. Oh, trying to get this out here. These are baby mealworms. Now we did order these because we do order a lot of healthy ones in there. Really nice. I got those this morning. You wouldn't know it. There's nothing wrong. So we'll go through. We feed
Like 1 day carrots.
and not a lot, because if you feed too many carrots, they'll get too moist and it really doesn't overload the worm. So what we'll do is we'll throw like 2 or 3 small pieces of carrots in here, and then the next day we'll come through and we'll put a half a cup of a fruit fly container. What is it, a 16 ounce? We'll put half of so 8 ounces of wheat in here. Yeah. And I use potato today because it was drier.
Yeah.
Sweet potato, actually, trying to avoid feeding the flies as
This
well.
was cleaned out
Yeah,
not even a week ago. So we go through a lot of food for these, but this food for us with small geckos,
it's gold.
Is we couldn't do without it.
Rainbow mealworms.
Rainbow mealworms. If I can't get micro meal of anything that we do in here, not getting a food like crickets or mealworms, if I can't get these in, I'm done. Crested geckos.
Everywhere. Every rack you're seeing in here is crested geckos right now.
Every rack on this side
Everything
is crested geckos. So we have, from a baby standpoint, we have
this is the first hatches. Ugh.
And
this is, I think this holds 96 tubs.
I thought it's 77, but you're 88,
no,
something like
it's
that. I don't know.
More than that.
Okay, so then we fold that up, last year, so we had to go with this.
Shoe boxes on a rolling rack.
And you guys might have seen this, but again, you were talking about numbering systems. So a little bit earlier, here's our numbering system. CR, crested gecko. I'll just bring it over there so we can see it.
I was going to come over.
CR 23. 23 is the year 097. So this is the 97th crested gecko of 2023 that we had. This is from group C10. C is a rack in the other room. So behind us is A and B, and then C is one of the newer racks in the other room. And then the date that they were hatched. What else? On color. So 2023 was pink. Gargoyles, however, I'm sorry, 2024 was green. Gargoyles 2023 was yellow. 2024 for gargoyles is purple. And as you were seeing, 2024 for crested geckos is hatching.
And this is already what's hatched, and we have multiple containers.
Up to 35, 30, 38, 39.
So these are
just hatched today.
Yeah, these are babies. What you saw back on top of the isopod rack, there were 2 columns. Those are baby cresties that are growing out. Coming back around here.
And thank goodness we have these racks because we can do something like this.
Yeah. It's fun in here when you're trying to move things around to get to the next rack. You just have to always remember to purchase the rack shorter than the beam in your basement, which we did not do the last time.
Probably, yeah, it's pretty. I've got a couple of bugs in these guys too. So, again, 2022 yellow. What else can I say here? 2023.
You mark them, you grade them, you give them A, B, C.
I try to say kind of what these are. Like this is a red, and it has small Dalmatians. I gave it a B minus. Arbitrary number or lettering completely. So juvenile. So we just saw the 2 baby racks. Juvenile. We had the 3 juveniles on the other side. We have a juvenile behind there.
Another whole rack here, all juvenile.
And then the shoe rack, which is another
and the shoebox rack is also. So there's 1, 2, 3 in here, 4 racks in here that are juvenile, and 3 in the other one that are juvenile. And then we have babies on one rack and babies on the other. And then we have all of our breeders back here. These guys, if they jump, they come running at me. I remove this photo, which is what doesn't. Somebody was coming up. So this is a basic rack for us. Basic setup. A basic setup for us. A hide, water dish, some plants, and couple geckos, 4 parkins in my car. We still miss the same amount of time like every other day, but we're missing a little bit lighter right now just to help with the humidity down here. Is the video pixelated or is it you? Well, again, remember these people going out a couple times. We sound like we're underwater. And the video's going out. Remember, we're a long ways down in the basement of our facility. So I kind of it's Frank, it's not us. I kind of anticipated, I had actually thought that if this didn't work, then I'd just do a video instead of a live stream. But hopefully so far this is working okay. Thanks, Angie. Have a good dinner. If you can turn around and show up on top, I know it's kind of okay. I was going to say something. Melanie is using your feeder food for her mealworms weekly, and they love it. Oh, excellent. Okay, if you look up here, I'm trying to do this. These are the foam egg cartons that we use in baby tanks for their hides. So we save them, we wash them, we soak them in water, and then clean them up and use them. All of our dishes that we have in the tanks, the black dishes, the crescent gecko diet, we don't do anything special because they clean really, really easy. But the white dishes that you saw in everyone's water cups, I soak in vinegar water and they clean really quick. There's a cute little rat, and that's our little egg crates that we use, the egg carton, and he wants to play now. I like these egg cartons. I don't like the flats as much as hopefully the little red ones, some of the ones. This is a funky one. I like these folks because when I do this, some of the water pools up in these little holes, and it's actually kind of a water dish. Yeah. So they work out really, really well. Oh my gosh, we did the east wing, we did the west wing. Folks, what questions do you have? This is a special event for us. We're really obviously proud of our facility. We know that we have a long ways to go. We're slowly, this is a lot. This is a lot. It takes a lot to make a change to put in these custom cages. It took us a good month and a half of change to take out, to clean up, to install, to set up for breeding, to move the animals. It was a lot. I'm not complaining whatsoever. I'm just saying that you make a change for something like that. It's a lot. It's not just a day and we're done. We're still looking at some big changes for the next year.
With crested geckos, with obviously these baby bins, we need to do something different with them. They're okay, but they are still a lot of work. Questions? Does anybody have questions?
Somebody said that they can't imagine how much time you put in to the facility weekly. Frank, sorry you can't hear us well. Oh, now it's better. Okay.
Okay.
Can't imagine how much time we put in down here. It's a lot.
It's a lot, and so I'm blessed. We're blessed. I'm blessed to be able to do what I love doing every single day. When I say that I check the incubator, I'll say probably 3 or 4 times a day I'm checking the incubator, and that's excessive, and it's an obsession. But I look at my day and it's my break. So people will get up, at work for coffee or take a 15-minute break. here I'm upstairs and I'm on social media, or I'm creating a video, editing a video, and when I'm in my mind, when I'm done, when I just need a break, I need a break. I grab my cup of coffee and I come down here and I walk around and I look at the animals. Maybe I'll move some, or maybe I'll take one of these setups and I'll do it a little bit differently. And an hour later, I'm back upstairs, cranking on the computer, or, sitting on the couch watching the Flintstones. No, I don't do that often. Hopefully everybody got that as a joke.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the last video that we did with the isopod food. Like I said, folks, we have a long ways to go. We've got to do something with electric down here. I know that, it's overkill. We've got lines running all over the place, so that's probably a main focus in the next couple of months. I feel every single line, and they're not warm, so I don't really feel that's an issue, but that's something that we have to work on. I wanted to make this as transparent again and open as I possibly could. If you have ideas, if you have suggestions, if you have complaints, please add them to the chat. If you feel that, we're not doing something the right way, add it to the chat. It's absolutely something that we always want to improve on down here. So I want to educate not only from the really, really good things that happen occasionally down here, but I want to talk about the bad things and how I change those bad things to try to make them better as much as possible, so other people don't make the same mistakes that I have maybe the fortune to make, because I have so many animals and I can see things happen a little quicker than maybe other people can. I'm not a big breeder. I'm a small to medium-sized breeder in my mind. I'm always open to ideas. There's not an idea that I will ever say, hey, no, it doesn't work that way, it's not for me. Everything is open-minded, and I take as much input as I possibly can get. So you see something that from today's show, you see something that you feel could be changed, or if you get an idea that you looked at and said, wow, that was pretty cool how you did that, I would be overwhelmed and overjoyed if you shared that information either on this site or on social media.
Frank says you need a part 2. He knows there's plenty more to explore.
Yeah, you ain't seen that stuff. You ain't seen the deep down, like what is it for the web? The dark web?
Yeah.
The dark facility? No.
There isn't really anything much more other than watching us feed her clean.
And we can do that. Let's do a challenge. Let's see how long it would take you to feed the crested gecko diet and how long I would take to.
There's no challenge. We already know that.
She says confidently. We'll see. Part 2,
you guys would have to tell us what you want to see in part 2. What you want.
Yeah. And 100% open to that. Tanks upstairs to finish this off. We have 2 in our bedroom. We have the giant day gecko tank. It's 24 by 24 by 24-ish. We have the same size tank for our Pseudodactylus tangensis or zubranchus.
Is that the noisy one?
That's the noisy one. That's the jaguars. We have the office, which you guys have seen over and over again. We have 2 pair of Phelsuma laticata gold dust geckos. We have a group of Odura robusta, and we have morning geckos. I'm trying to think of anything
Frank
else.
wants to see your fish.
Fish are down. Fish are down
right now, Frank.
Yeah, I pulled the fish down about a year ago, and
it's just too busy.
Too much, and I really wanted to focus on the geckos and moving the geckos forward, so that's what we did. Any questions, leave them in the chat, and I will certainly address them. Anything that you want to send me personally in a PM, feel free on Facebook. I'd love to see your comments. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Matt, any last comments?
No, and there's a comment here that this is a great insider to see how larger scale breeders do their facility. This is an example. This is not perfect. We've gone through lots of learning experiences, and we shared one tonight with those shoebox things. And we will continue to learn, and hopefully we can share more information and help people. And Frank wants to dance. Oh, look at that. He looks like the gopher in Caddyshack. There you go. There you go, Frank. That's all you're getting.
Thank you, everyone, for
All
joining
right.
tonight.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.